Guys, welcome back. Before we begin with Material UI, let's do a house cleaning first. To start with, we're going to clean up this main page of React. So to do that, let's head back to our VS Code. So from here, I'm going to remove some parts here. So let's start with the main page. Let's say this one. Okay, so from here, I'm going to remove this logo and app.cs. So that is this one and this one. So I'm going to delete this app, this logo.svg, and also this one, the app.cs. Or rather the app.css. Okay, then let's head back to app.js. So from here, I'm going to remove this section here. Okay. Okay, I rather clean up everything from here. I just take note, just leave the class name app. So that should do. Let's save that. Okay, so let's head back. And there you go. Okay, good. Now, before we start with this application, I want to add an extension for this one, since we'll be using React. So let's add some auto template. So to do that, let's select that or find that application from this extension here. Just click this one. And then from here, just type React. Okay. So always, if you are on this section, I suggest to select this first extension here. So on my part, I already installed this one. So what it does is it will create us a auto template. Okay, whether you're in different platform, this applies to all. So this will be okay. So this contains the ES7 version and the React, including the Redux and React Native. So these are the snippets. Okay. So if you're going to head back here, let's say, okay, this is the main template. Let's say I'm going to create a component here. So under the source, create a folder. I'm going to name this as components. Okay. So let's say I'm going to create a test file. So let's say I'm going to name this as hello world.js. Okay. So from here, let's say we can, instead of typing the snippets or the template, we can simply just type rf. Okay, so from here you can see all those functionality that are the pre-made template. So you can select from any from here. So since this is our first time to use this one, so I rather check or use this per selection from here. Okay, so that's it. Now, if you're new to React, don't worry, just follow along on how I created our first template. Because what we're doing right now is simply the basic. So later we can enhance this. So take note, this is only for beginners course. So for most of the guys that already knows React, so you know the basics. Okay, so from here, we already call this function hello world. So we're going to apply that in our app.js, or rather call that. So to do that, we just enclose that with this bracket, and then the name of the component. So let's say hello. Okay. So if you find the component that you're looking on, just select that one. Okay, as you can see, it will auto appear on this top portion here. So we're going to enclose that, and let's save that. All right, so this is already done. So let's check our browser, and there you go. Good. So this is our clean template. So anything from the previous template. So we are now focusing on the only the template itself. Aside from adding the extension or using the extension template, I would like to add, we can also add an additional debugger tool, which is a pre-made or built-in from your browser. Now, at this point, I'm using Firefox. So if you are on a Firefox browser, you can search this name, React Developer Tools. So right now, I only saw this one in Firefox and Chrome. So if you're working on those browser, just check this React Developer Tools and add to your browser. Now, once add, what it does, if you head back to your React, just basically what we do is when we do some web creation or web design, we always do that or inspect that by simply right click, then we select inspect. So from this section here, we can see that these are the contents from our basic page. So I mean, this is the current page that I'm working on. But in addition to that, since we're using React Developer Tool, you will notice that there are two tabs here in the right corner. So we have the components and the provider. Most of the time when I design or working with React, I always focus on the component because I want to see how my creation or how's my designs work. So for this point, as you can see, we have the topmost, which is the app, and now we only added the hello world. So this is the app that we're adding from the components. Okay, so that's it. So just feel free to explore more on this part. So let's head back to our discussion. Now that we already start or working with our basic template, so for those who are beginners, just follow along. And for those who already experienced with React, you can skip this part and you can move on to the next part. So, okay. So, okay. So how do we install Material UI? So to begin with the installation, just head back to this Material UI website, which is the MUI.com, and look for this Get Started. You can simply copy the package from here, but on our case, I would suggest to go within the documentation. So just click this Get Started. Okay, so here are the setups that we're going to working with on. Another thing, before you are for those who already have experience with Material UI, you are all familiar with the Material UI component. But right now, they changed that into MUI base. So there are a lot of changes, but the concept is still the same. The only difference that they said that the features from here that before when we do the Material UI, they said that this type of the things that were done in the past is it said that this package is using a default style and optimized. While the MUI base we consider as a skeletal or headless. So don't worry for the beginners. This sounds like confusing, but I would suggest to go along with the examples because that's the best practice when you're learning Material UI. For those who are familiar with materials or materials template, you're already familiar with this one because if you are a Vue developer or a Angular, these components already exist in there. It so happened that this one is dedicated only for React. Unlike the Vue, they have the Beautify, and so with Angular, they have their materials. So same goes. So, okay, so much with the intro. So let's continue with the installation. Just select this installation tab here. Okay, to start with, we need to add that in our package. Just copy uh, this package installer here. So just select copy, then go to your terminal. Okay, so if you are, or if this is your first time in React, so I would suggest maybe we can close this one by simply press Control C. Okay, so this will terminate the application. Okay, so from here, going to clear this one. Okay, so just paste that installation package from Material UI and then hit enter. Okay, so feel free to explore. So right now we're only installing the basic requirements for using the Material UI. So later on, once you're done with this installation, you can check that in this package.json. Okay, so we'll wait for a while. Okay, since this will take a little bit longer, so let's continue with our discussion. So for those who are familiar already with material templates, and for those who are first time, I'm going to show you some examples from this website. So they have their predefined template. So you can use this at your very own. After you learn the whole series, you will gain confidence on using these templates. So this is from Material UI template. As you can see, they have already the predefined template. Of course, we charge. But some here, they're also a pre-template. So just explore on the template that says free. So far, these are the examples that you can gain later on. So like this one, we have the React admin dashboard. So this is a pre-template. What else? Okay, here. So we have the very pre-React Material admin dashboard and support. So there are a bunch of template here you can use in the future development. So for a overview, so I'm going to open one. Actually, I already opened one of the template here. So this one. At the end of our development or practice, we're going to at least create this template, this type of template, using the examples from Material UI. So this is only an overview on how does Material UI looks when you are working on the final project. Okay, so that's it. So if you're familiar with Material UI already, you can simply understand or familiarize these common components. So for the beginners, we're going to learn this step by step. So just continue and keep watching for our video throughout the series. And at the end, you can say that you're very much confident on using this component. Okay, so let's head back. Okay, so it depends, depending on your internet. Sometimes it will take a while. So while waiting for this one, okay, let's scan the other things that we can find in the installation. Okay, if you are working with NPM, the first one you can choose from, because if you are installed using the node, if you recall the first tutorial, I mentioned that we need to install node. But if you are usually, if you're working with Linux or Mac or something, there are other installation that don't need npm, but instead you can use the yarn. So this is for the yarn. Also, we have these icon for style. So you can also install this one, which is most frequent of our development later on. We're going to use this part here. And also, if you're familiar with Robotopon, so this is from Google. So most of the web development right now, they just included this one. And also the icon. So if there are icons that are missing, you can simply add this one. So just check this documentation here. And also we have the SVG Material Icon. So if you're adding an icon which is come from SVG Material Icon, so just install this one. And also the CDN. So for the CDN, this is the link development. So if you're working with only integrated with the API's link, so this is a convenient way of adding this one. Okay. So that's for the intro. So right now, let's wait. Okay, good. We're done. So right now, we are installed the installation package. Now to test if this is working, we're going to create a test component. So to do that, let's say I'm going to, okay, to test our example, I will use this example from here. So what it does is I'm going to add these button components from material, of course, from material package. So to do that, so let's say we need to copy this one here. Okay. Okay. So from here, I'm going to clear up this hello world. So just you simply copy the components from Material UI. Take note, this is the new version. Before, for those who are already familiar with Material UI, notice that this already changed. So because right now they're using the MUI base. Okay. So to use this one, if you check if you see this component, the example here, rather copy this one. Okay, and then place here. So let's say here. Okay, just keep it simple. So just place that in between these div components or div tags. Okay, so as you can see, this is how we call the component from Material UI. So notice the very basic component, which is the button. If you see that in our browser, but first we need to run that. Let's head back by typing, let's clear this one here and type npm start. Okay, let's move this a little bit. Okay. Sometimes if you are started with React, you notice that the first boot is always the slowest part. I mean the slowest one. But later, once it runs, it will be faster. Okay. All right. So this is how it looks when it comes to the app. So if we're going to inspect that, just right click and then select inspect. Normally, what you're going to see is this is under here, under the root, under the app, and from the app, we have the button. So what it does is in the normal browser, it will convert into the basic HTML tag or the components that you're used on. So this is the things that it does when it comes to the actual browser or actual design. Now, if you're using the developer tool, just select this component here. Okay, you will see that we have a bunch of setup here. So first we have the top group, which is the app. So if you headed back here in our development, app is the main or the root for all the that we're working a while ago or currently working. So notice that we added the hello world within the app. So if you scan here, so under the app, we have the hello world. Then under the hello world, we have the button components. So this is one thing I like with the React Developer tool because you can simply see that the difference when it comes to the browser. Unlike the normal inspector that we're using in our every development that we're working on. So that's it. So that's how you integrate your component using Material UI in React. On the next chapter, we'll be discussing on how to work with the layouts and templates. So that will be a very exciting topic. So for now, if you enjoy this topic, please hit the like button and subscribe. And see you guys on the next video series. Cheers!